Welcome back to Strength Training 101. In this final video, Taylor will help us take the movements that we learned in Part 2 and use them in our own personal strength training program. As always, be sure to check with your healthcare practitioner before embarking on any exercise program.
In our last video, I talked about the benefits of strength training and demonstrated 9 basic movement patterns that will ensure you are working all the major muscles of your body. Today I would like to show you how to incorporate those movements exercises into a program. Let's move to the board here. So let's start off with how often per week we should be doing strength training. I gave you several different options here. So first off is 2 to 3 non-consecutive days of full body. What I mean by full body is you're using all of those 9 basic movement patterns each time that you work out. Second one there is we can do a 4-day if you're splitting the upper and the middle lower body sections of your body. And the last one, you could work out 6 days if you're splitting the upper and then the middle and then the lower body. So what I mean by when we talk about splitting there, that would be that you would work on, say, a Monday you would do your upper body, and then on a Tuesday you would come in and do your middle lower body. Then you would rest a day and come back on Thursday and repeat the upper, and then on Friday do the middle lower body again. With the 6 days, you would just extend it out over those 6 days, and you would do less of the movements each day. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, call me. There you go. The key is we want to have 48 to 72 hours of rest between each area that we work out. Secondly, let's talk about how many reps and how much weight. People often become a little bit too worried about this when they first start off. They say, I don't know how much weight to use. Just pick a light weight, start with it. If it's too light, you can gradually add more as needed. But start with 12 to 15 reps. The main thing you want to do when you're starting off is you're trying to learn the movement. You're not really even developing strength at that point in time. You're developing the coordination to actually perform the movement. So focus on that. Don't worry about that for the first couple of weeks. Then as you feel more comfortable with the movement, go ahead and start adding some weight or resistance. I use weight here as kind of a general term. If you're doing push-ups, obviously there's no weight involved there. But for example, if you're doing a push-up off of your knees and you're feeling comfortable with that, instead of adding weight to that, you would lift your knees off the floor and begin to start doing a full range of motion with that movement. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the rep cadence, repetition cadence here. We want to be joint friendly to our bodies here. So I've written down there's a 3, a 1, an X, and a 1. And then I have a control. That's the main thing we want to demonstrate here. So I'm going to have Jane come back to me here, and I'm going to show you using a simple band movement. And this would be the part where we're going to do a push away from our body. So with the rep cadence, the 3 means that on the down section of the movement, 1, 2, 3. The 1 there is a slight pause, a 1 pause. X means whatever's comfortable for you. Some people prefer to lift slow. Some people prefer to do the movement upward or outward. The hard part of the movement, if you will. They prefer to do that a little bit quicker, and that's fine. And then the 1 signifies a control again. A pause at the very top of the movement. So I'm going to do that movement and show you that cadence one more time. 1, 2, 3, 1, out, and 1, and then I would repeat 1, 2, 3, 1, out, 1 hold, and so on and so forth. The main thing we're looking at again is we want to be joint friendly and we want to demonstrate control over that movement. If we have to if we're unable to pause at the top of the rep as I showed you, that means that we probably use momentum and not actually our muscles in actually lifting that weight. Let's move on to how many sets. There's much debate in the world of training here over how many sets is appropriate. There's a considerable amount of research that suggests for people who are just beginning and who have trained for less than 1 year that there's not much benefit to be gained from doing more than 1 set per exercise, and that may surprise a lot of people. But that's provided that you're actually training at a quite intense level, though. So if your intensity and your effort level is not as high, you will need more sets per exercise. And then as you become more experienced, adding sets may definitely improve your strength as you go. There are several different factors to keep in mind there as far as how many sets. Also, are you warmed up? How hard are you training, your experience level, and so on and so forth. But if you're a person who needs some time to get warmed up, I would definitely suggest shooting for more along the 3 sets and using that initial set using a lighter weight and getting your body ready to go. It kind of depends on what you've done before. If you're a person who does your cardiovascular training before you do strength training, your body may be properly warmed up and ready to go, and you can jump straight into it. And then lastly, how much rest between the actual sets and exercises. This is largely individual based and goal based, and what I mean by that is are you looking to maximize your strength, or are you looking to get somewhat of a combination effect? You're trying to get strength and endurance, muscular endurance from your training. So the main thing to remember here is that longer rest will allow you to use more resistance, and that's going to promote greater strength gains. Shorter rests you're going to be able to, because of fatigue, you're going to obviously not be able to use as much resistance, so that less resistance is going to equal less strength gain. But you're going to also be able to probably perform more repetitions there, and you'll be focusing more on muscular endurance. As far as, I guess I would kind of like to go back to the how many reps and how much weight, because that factors into how much rest also here. So when we're looking at 12 to 15 reps, we're really talking about muscular endurance. But when you're starting off, I definitely would encourage you, just because of the fact that your muscles are not used to handling heavier weights, and also, like I said, we're trying to learn that movement. But as you progress, you may find that you want to use heavier weights and use lower repetitions, which will promote that greater strength gain. But definitely, if you're just starting off, start with light weights, and then you can gradually move into heavier weights. Another great way is if you're looking back at how often here, all this stuff kind of works together. Please keep that in mind. But if we're going to work out 2 days per week, we could choose to use heavier weights and less reps on one of those days, and then come back the following day and use lighter weights and more repetitions, so that one day we're focusing more on strength, one day we're focusing more on muscular endurance. The same thing could apply to the 4 days and the 6 days there too. So, and then as I always said, the key there is to allow yourself some rest between working each of those areas or those movement patterns. Remember, we do not gain muscle and strength while we are in the gym or at home or wherever we are training. We gain that strength and that muscle while we are at rest. So it is important that we get sleep and proper nutrition in order for that to happen. Well, my hope is that this series has encouraged you to begin strength training and giving you the necessary information to do so. If anyone has any further questions on the topic, please email me and I will do my best to assist you. Be sure to join us for our next video where we will talk about flexibility. As always, thanks for watching and be well.